Did you hear that?
Hey everybody, this is James. Went back to the private home investigation we did here a while back with What the Paranormal, and of course the video that I made on this was I just took my camera, and for most of it I just set the camera in the bedroom, pointed at these two closet doors that they said had been opening by themselves. And of course we never did get a door to open, but we picked up a ton of noises and whispers and so on and so forth. And of course the video was a little over 2 hours long because it was just an unedited, live on tape, if you will, video that kind of just allowed you to sit there and kind of be part of the investigation. And of course normally when I do these we would do these videos, I'll come out with the EVP thing like a couple of days later. I've been putting this one off because I knew it was going to be a bear, and it is. It's a lot of stuff that we're going to go through, but I figure since I started this last week, I'm started this segment, which is kind of a semi-regular thing, kind of takes the place of doing investigations. It's probably going to be about another month before I can get another one of these up because of my work schedule, and just got in a new place. I'm going to be going to McKinney every third weekend, but that's really good news. That means I should be making some really good money. So the downside is it's going to throw a bit of a wrench in any videos that I might post on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, pretty much. So I wanted to get this one in. But believe me, this is going to be long enough that it should hold you over. A lot of stuff here, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. Okay, now this first clip is from pretty early on. Probably no more than about 10 minutes after I started the video. And of course we were in the living room getting ready for the rest of the investigation. Well, let me play the clip first, and then I'll come back. So I'm going to be doing this one a little bit different than I normally do. Usually I'll play highlight certain parts of the clip and play it 3 times, but there's so much here. I'm going to try and do it a little bit different to kind of help cut the time. In that clip, at 4 seconds, there's like a click of some kind, a click or a tap. 10 seconds into it, pretty faint, you get a whisper. Couldn't really make out anything that was being said, but there's a possible whisper there. And then about 3 seconds after that, about 13 seconds into the clip, there's a louder tapping sound or clicking sound. So let me play it again. Of course, the taps and that kind of clicking sound and tapping, it is an older house. So a lot of that could just be the house settling. I did notice when we would go into the room, when you move a little bit, that floor kind of makes a good kind of a clicking sound or a cracking kind of sound when you're walking around on it. So it's still kind of notable that it's making that noise even when nobody's in the room. To be walking around on the floor. But I didn't want to play every single little creak and tap that we picked up because there's a ton of them. The second clip is just maybe 1 or 2 minutes after that. Okay, now you'll hear Amy in the other room. She's standing kind of close to that bedroom door, and she was talking about a screenshot that somebody had taken off of their video from the Parker House investigation. She was telling me about that. So she's the only one talking. The rest of us were just listening to her at the time. Well, let me play the clip, see if you can pick up on it, and then I'll come back and we can play it again. So very faint. About 11 seconds into it, what I hear is like three small sounds. It sounds like a voice. Sounds like maybe just like a or almost a whimper. So let me play that again, and like I say, it's about 11 seconds into it. Like I say, it's real faint. I made the clip that long so you could tell. So I could get Amy talking. You could tell that she was the only one talking at the time, so it wasn't somebody else picking up from the other room. Now that, along with this third clip, was about a little over 14 minutes into the video. I'll tell you what, just so this isn't quite so long, I think the rest of it, I'm just going to play it. I'm going to assume everybody knows how to pause and back it up. I'm just going to play the clip once, and then, but I'll play the clip first. I won't tell you specifically what's on it. Then I'll kind of back intro it, if you will, and give you the opportunity to kind of listen for yourself, and then I'll tell you what I'm getting out of it. This third clip is, like I say, it's a little over 14 minutes into it, and there's a good little bit here. So let's go ahead and play this one. Okay, now I found this really interesting because along with that second clip of just kind of the about 7 seconds into that third clip, that one we just played, it almost sounds like a little girl. And of course, you can still hear Amy talking in the background. Of course, she's moved away from the door a little bit. But at 7 seconds, it sounds kind of that same kind of whimpery kind of voice. Almost sounds like a little girl. 12 seconds, a little bit louder, it's a little more prominent, and then right after that, you're definitely going to need headphones for that. It sounds like a very low, faint, breathy kind of voice. And then right after that, that same kind of whimper sound. And what I found interesting about that is, during the investigation, we would try to communicate, and all that, and it just makes me wonder if there's more than one in that room. If there is a presence, which I fully believe that there is. There's just way too much going on, and the room felt too odd. There's definitely a presence there, but it just makes me wonder if there's more than one. And it kind of makes me think that maybe one of them is kind of commanding over the other. I don't know if about saying held captive or anything, but it does make me wonder if that's why there seems like there's such an angry feeling to the air in there. If it's like one spirit kind of controlling another and not allowing it to cross over or communicate with people or whatever it is it's trying to do. Of course, we could be mistaking that for a protective thing. I don't know, but I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that's just kind of a theory that I came up with. Okay, the next clip. This is a good. It was about 12 minutes later, 12, 13 minutes later. Pretty self-explanatory. Like I say, we got that kind of noise several times through the video. Like I say, I'm not going to play every one of them, but I just wanted to get that in there, that kind of tapping sound. And there's a couple of clips in here where we're actually in the room, and when we kind of move around, we kind of step around, it makes that same kind of noise. That's the only reason I really kind of thought it was significant. Alright, the next one, I'm going to try and speed this up. Okay, and let's see, this next one, again, this is, you hear that same kind of sound made when it sounds like somebody walking around on the floor, moving around on the floor. We're actually in the room at this time, me and Amy are. And you'll hear both Amy and myself react to it. Probably 30 seconds later. Definitely going to need headphones to hear the main part of this, but let me go ahead and play the clip.
Did the light just do that? Did you see that light flicker? I heard a like that first, and then my light. Look at my light.
Yeah.
It's dying.
Drain that battery.
Wow, look at that, it's dead.
It's going after your stuff, mine's fine.
It is.
Okay, there's about 5 seconds into it. There's this really faint kind of humming sound, just kind of a well, it's basically what Amy said in the video. It's just, you barely hear it, but she did hear it. And then, of course, after that, she was having all kinds of trouble with her light after that. We thought for a little bit that it was trying to communicate with us through the light, and maybe it still was, but it just not in the way we thought it was. But we're not sure if something was trying to gain energy from it or what was going on. But definitely something screwy going on with her light at that point. This next one, okay, this next one happened about 39 minutes into the recording.
Can you turn it off so we can ask you another question? Oh, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Oh, wow. That sounded like a big old, like, growl, kind of.
Okay, again, it's pretty faint, but about 6 seconds into that clip, and of course, you hear Amy bring it up. It's kind of a little growling noise. And we actually picked this up a couple of other times, too. But that was the first time we heard, and we were actually in the room at the time when we heard it. They just kind of went, oh. But we don't know if that was a growl, a moan. What was it? It was too faint to really identify for sure. But we definitely got something there. Okay, not much for a little over 10 minutes. I'm telling you, there's a lot here. I had went and got to K2, and well, let's see. Like I say, let me go ahead and play the clip. And you can try to speak. We've got things here that may pick up your voice, even if we don't hear it. Okay, I had got to K2, put it there on the bed. We were trying to get it to communicate through the K2, or just make the lights light up, let us know it was there. And I did mention that it could speak, but maybe we would pick it up. They're at 13 seconds into the clip. You get that quick little, sounds like a one word, maybe a yeah, or something like that. sounds a little bit like, it sounds kind of like it could be a voice. And as far as I can remember, we didn't hear anything at the time. Neither one of us said anything. So I say it's about 13 seconds into that clip. All right, we were pretty quiet for about 4 minutes. Okay, we got a couple of pretty interesting ones here. At least 2 different things here that you may want to try and listen for. Okay, is there anything you can do? Can you, even if you can't open the door, can you just kind of maybe push on the door a little bit, make it bump? The closet door, the front door, just whichever you can get to. Okay, I kind of felt a presence to my left. And so I kind of felt like it was staying on that side of the room. I was kind of hoping to get it to open one of those doors for us. And about 11 seconds into that clip, I kind of hear that same and I don't know if it's a whimper, if they're trying to say something. You get that about 2 or 3 times, and then about 18 seconds into the clip, it sounds like a voice. Sounds to me like it could be I can't. I'll tell you what, let me just shave it down to that one little part and play that one like 3 times before we move on. So it could be I can't. But like I say, it's pretty tough to tell. Okay, I know this is not the best presentation, but like I say, there's just so much here. I don't want this video to end up being, 2 hours long. be as long as the full video. All right, I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead and jump right into the next one. This is about a little over 59 minutes into the recording.
I don't know if you got that or not. I'm gonna look out and see if somebody's out there, because I could have swore I heard a laugh. Oh, you can't look out there.
Yeah, you can. Okay, about 6 seconds into it, you hear that tap again. In about 8 seconds, there's a really faint something, and you'll hear Amy say that it sounded like a laugh to her. More prominent sound when we were there than it is on the video. Like I say, it's about 8 seconds, really faint. But I wanted to show that she did hear something. She went to look out the window. We weren't able to look outside. But like I say, if you want to go back and listen again, it's right around 8 seconds. All right, the 12th clip, well, the 11th clip actually, because I cut one of them out already. I'm going to be jumping around a little bit here. This next one is about an hour and 4 minutes into the recording, and we'll just play that one real quick. Nobody was in the room at the time. Well, yeah, you'll be able to forget this is video, so you'll be able to tell nobody was in the room at the time. It's going to be, well, I'll just go ahead and tell you where I'm picking it up. I think it's pretty obvious, but it's about 4 seconds into it. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll play everything chronologically here. About 2.5 minutes after that, I'll just go ahead and say what I think it is. It's just a lot easier for me to do it that way. This next, about 5 seconds into it, you hear something. This sounds to me just kind of like a deep breath. Okay, then it was about a minute after that, we get this sound. It's early, about a second into it. Okay, now that last clip and the one before the breath, that kind of sounds like a hissing sound. And And that really caught my attention because right about that same time, maybe 10 minutes later into the night, we actually caught that same sound in the other bedroom, in Barbara's actual bedroom. And so let me go back. This next clip is actually from the voice recorder. It's one that we've already played on the EVP deal for it. But I just wanted to show you that it's not quite as prominent. Don't hear it quite as well. But it's about 3 seconds into it. Take a listen to this. As you can tell, all three of them sound pretty much the same. It's that same hissing sound that we picked up in two different rooms within a few minutes of each other. So, could have been something moving. Well, I think pretty obviously something was moving back and forth because we were getting stuff in the living room and everything else. So. Alright, about 5 minutes after that hissing sound, picked up something. Well, okay, I'll go ahead and play this, and then now I will say that part of it could be a car from outside, because at first I did write this off thinking it was just a car, but it seems like there's something else there. So let's go ahead and listen to it. I think this is a pretty long one too, so let's just go ahead and listen to this real quick. Okay, like I say, which it starts, if I go back, starts right around 7 or 8 seconds, I think is when it really starts getting into it. Like I say, there's a couple of those noises I think is just probably a pickup off in the distance. But not all of that was a vehicle. Some of that was coming from in the room, and probably the scariest one that we picked up, very growly kind of voice. It was about 4 minutes after that, a real quick one. What I caught was right around 3 seconds. I say about the 3 second mark. It does sound like it's probably a female voice. I can't tell if it's an O or a no, or it's just something like this, a real quick single word, short word. As a matter of fact, since this is such a short one, I'll go ahead and just highlight that one little part and play it 3 times as well. And of course, there's some of these you'll hear us talking, and as we're continuing with the investigation in other parts of the house, and of course, as I said at the time I did the first EVP from the voice recorder, we made too much noise, but we weren't constantly making noise. So this next one is about 4 seconds into it, or in 4 seconds. It's 4 minutes after that last one. You get another single word is what it sounds like to me. It's about 2 seconds into it. So let's go ahead and give that a listen. Then I'll tell you what I think it's saying. Okay, I should have mentioned this was right before Amy came into the room. She went into that room by herself. Me and Lainey were going into the other room. And about 2 seconds in, it's just right before she opens the door, you kind of hear this, like a ha, like a breathy kind of ha, or what. So it's just another real quick single voice. I'll go ahead and highlight that and play it 3 times. Okay, I think the next couple of these are just kind of confirmation of what Amy heard in the room at the time. This first one like I say, it's pretty self-explanatory. About 3 seconds into it, you'll hear the noise that Amy reacts to.
Sure, another bang.
Okay, couple of, well, about a little over a minute later, we get another noise. And this is most definitely not the house settling. You can't, if it's settling that much, then she needs to get the hell out of that house, because that's an awful lot of noise. And then sometime after that, now I can't say for sure. I'm not as familiar, obviously, with all the little gadgets and stuff that Amy and Lainey have. So I don't know if maybe this was some of her stuff making this noise, but, well, I'll go ahead and play the clip and then look for stuff at about 16 seconds. This is a pretty long clip. And then at 30 seconds, there's some other odd noises.
Can you come and talk to me? I have a little black box up here that you can come and talk to. It's got a red light on it.
Okay, the first thing, like I said, it was definitely some kind of movement in the room. That second one, the one at 30 seconds, that sounded kind of like a water dropping, water dripping into a puddle or a pool or whatever. And I can't say for certain that that's not something, maybe her phone or something. I can just say I don't remember ever hearing that sound before, so I thought I'd put it in there. A couple of minutes later, she asked for a sign that somebody is there, and it's kind of funny. It's almost like they're saying, "Okay, that big movement wasn't enough. Okay, here you go." And we get, like I say, it's another pretty long clip. It's at 15 seconds. You should definitely hear something moving around, almost sound like something falling over. And then at 39 seconds into the clip, it kind of pay attention to that spot. And we'll go ahead and play this one.
Can you show me a sign that you're here? Thank you. Oh, what was that?
Okay, as you can see, that Amy actually heard that at the time, or she heard something. And that little voice at the end, so I'll go ahead and throw this one out there, play it 3 times back to back as well. I guess it depends on if you think it's being nice or if it's not. Kind of what I'm hearing is either it could be repeating her saying thank you, or it could be an F you. But go ahead and let's give it another listen, just that one part. A couple of minutes after that, it's about an hour and 28 minutes into the video, it sounded like paper rustling, which Amy heard. She turns around and responds to it. Now, right after you hear that noise, it does sound like a voice. I can't say for sure that that's not. It kind of sounds like it might be Lainey from the other room. So I can't say for sure on that, but there's definitely some kind of movement there in the room. Okay, about a minute later, there's Amy never finishes her thought here, but she's talking about how it feels in the room. And about 3 seconds, there's some kind of noise here. Yeah, let's go ahead and play it, and then.
In this room, it feels a little worse than what?
Almost sounded like nails clicking on something. I couldn't tell if she was reacting to that or if she heard it or not. But of course, that could have just been some kind of movement again in the room. But it just when I heard it, I kind of pictured like a little dog running across the room, across the floor, and its nails, kind of ticking on the floor. All right, and then about 3 minutes later, let's go ahead and take a look at this one.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna leave the room now.
Like I said, it was about 2 seconds in. There's a possible voice. It's I don't know why it would be saying this at this point. It almost sounds like "Who's that?" But I don't know. It's tough to make out. It's so faint, but definitely sounds like a voice there. But as you can see, Amy was getting ready to go ahead and leave. The next one is about a minute later. Actually, not even a full minute. It's about 30 seconds later. As Amy is leaving, walking towards the door, she says goodbye. And in about 3 seconds, you can hear something.
Goodbye.
And again, from what I can hear, it's tough to say. Again, if you think it's positive or negative, it almost sounds like "stay here" to me. Could also be "stay gone." I'm not really sure, but I'm going to go ahead and play that. I'm going to go ahead and do that clip 3 times in a row too. So it'll be a good listen to it. Like I said, that could be "stay here," but like I say, it's really tough to say. Okay, it was about almost 2 minutes after she left. This one's almost right away. Starts at about 1 second into the clip. Pretty short one. I think right there at the end you're catching Amy talking in the other room, but just right before that, there seems to be a whisper coming from in the room. Couldn't really make out what was being said again, but certainly sounded like a whisper to me. Kind of sounded like 3 or 4 words there, but I can't quite make out what's being said. Okay, now these last 3 are really just kind of confirmation of stuff that we've already heard on the other one. There in Barbara's bedroom, at one point we were getting some hits on the K2, some apparent communication through the K2. And also we started getting these loud bangs and bumps. This first one is that first big one that we heard. You'll hear the bang. Absolutely. Of course, me and Lainey and Barbara were all in that room. Amy was in the living room by herself. And you'll hear the bang, and you'll hear Amy react to it. And then a little bit, Amy sticks her head out the door to make sure that wasn't Amy doing something in there. The thing is that, well, let me go ahead and play it real quick.
Mom? Are you banging on stuff?
It sounds different on this than it did on the voice recorder or on the What's Paranormal video. On those two, it just sounded like one big. And on this, it almost sounds like 3 separate boom, boom. Oh, and I guess I should say when Amy left, she turned the light out, so it's just going to be black screen. Okay, just a few seconds later, you'll hear Lainey from the other room ask a question. Ask if that was them trying to let them, if that was them trying to let us know that they were there. And we get a little bonus bump. Now, this did not pick up on the voice recorder. This did not pick up on Amy and Lainey's video. Picked up on this one. I have no idea where this came from, why we didn't hear it. But there is, about 2 seconds into this, there is another bump that we did not hear at the time and didn't pick up on anything else. You hear that kind of tap, and like Lainey says, "Oh, is that you banging?" And we said, get that bump, and like I said, I didn't pick up on anything else. So I'm not sure where that came from. Okay, and finally, this last one is the second big bump. You'll hear it at about 2 seconds, and then you'll hear me call out to Amy to make sure that wasn't her that time again. And you'll hear her respond. And like I said, this is just confirmation that it did pick up on all the audio that we had. Okay, and that's it. Like I said, that was a lot of stuff to go through. Hopefully that wasn't too poorly presented. I was trying to just get through all of it because I knew there was so much there. I didn't want the thing to be an hour long, and there was just so much to it that I was afraid it was just going to be too long. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff there. As I said before, I've been places where I've got more clear EVPs, which, by the way, before I get too far into that, I realize that not all of this, I always call these EVPs, I realize not all of these are actual EVPs. It's just I'm kind of using EVP as a general term. Just stuff to pick up on audio. But as I said before, I have been places where I picked up EVPs that were more clear. I've picked up stranger EVPs and had stranger audio, but I don't know if I've ever been anywhere that I picked up that much stuff that caught my ear in a relatively short period of time. Like I said, the video itself was a little over 2 hours long, and like I say, we were only there, like I say, set the camera up shortly after getting there, and when I went ahead and shut the camera off, we only stayed a few minutes after that. So, like I say, a little over 2 hours to get all that stuff. That's kind of wild, but I may have to send some of this stuff to, if I can get a hold of these friends of mine from Wichita Falls, have them give a listen to it. I'm kind of wondering about this thing in the bedroom. If maybe she's got more than one in there, and if there's more than one, if one of them is not kind of holding one back or kind of dominating the other. Like I say, I don't know that for sure. It's just kind of a theory. Anyway, like I say, it's I'm not sure when I'm going to put up another Friday video here for the paranormal. Like I say, I know next weekend I'm going to be pretty busy. The weekend after that is a possibility, but it's probably going to be at least a month. And really, hopefully, the next paranormal video will be an investigation video. Like I say, with my work schedule, the first 3 weekends of the month, most months, it's going to be pretty tough for me to put anything up. It's the most it's going to be once a month. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one. If you pick up anything else, let me know. I'll leave a link to the full unedited home investigation video. Like I say, it's a little over 2 hours long. Like I say, there's plenty there to hear. Not much to see. Didn't get any doors open or anything. And I'll also link to What's Paranormal's video on the same investigation. So hope you like this one. If you're new, like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.